Here we go. Hey, everybody. This is Regan Adams with All Things Reagan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to give you guys like a couple of seconds or a minute to get on and join us. I know it's game night. I just found out about it. I don't fool with football like that, but we'll try to be quick. So just thanks for joining us and give me a minute and let me get some things going on my end. All right. All right, Troy, I'm gonna tag you in this too.
I just shared it off your page.
Oh, you already shared it. You so fast. I tell you what.
Got to give the people what they want.
I know. I see. All right. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Everybody, thank you so much for joining me and Troy this evening. My name is Regan Adams with All Things Reagan. Thank you so much again for joining us. So I have my dating coach. Now I know y'all get sick and tired of me talking about my dating coach, but listen. He's gonna have me married at this next time. You just know it's because of him.
Oh yeah.
But I'm definitely gonna always talk about him because he has made my transition from me being divorced and dating a whole lot better, especially at the age of 41. Um, when I looked at dating, I was like, oh my gosh, it seems overwhelming. But when I hired him, I was just like, he made it so easy. And we just really, to me, we were or I was overthinking it. So anytime that I get a platform to be able to talk about dating, I'm going to always try my best, as long as he keeps telling me yes, to come on here, because I really feel like everybody needs to know about him. He's super cool. It's like talking to your homeboy, but he's still gonna get you in check a little bit. And he's already married with a beautiful family. So obviously he knows what he's talking about there. So anyway, I'm not going to keep rambling. I'm going to let him introduce himself and everything that he's got going on. And we'll go ahead and get started. Troy, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
What's going on, Reagan? Hey, listen. First of all, you made my job easy, right? The reason you make my job easy is because you're open, right? You're open and you're realistic with yourself, and you're open to listening, and those always make the best clients. So thank you for being a good client for sure. So who I am, I'm Troy Spry. I'm a certified life and relationship coach, speaker, and author of the book "Teach Me How to Love While What You Don't Know Will Hurt You." So if you don't have a copy, go get a copy from Amazon. But what I do is I help people get out of their own way in life and love. That's what I do. I help people get out of their own way in life and in love. And I want to help you too. So let's talk.
Yay. Okay. So, one of the main things that I've noticed with dating, first of all, is a mindset. You have to have the right mindset. That's with anything that you do. So, Troy, I want to talk about what have you been seeing as far as I'm going to say women, but everybody. What is the main problem that you are seeing concerning mindset and dating?
Yeah. So it's funny you ask that question because like when I think about it, we all want the same thing, right? We want companionship, we want connection, we want relationship, we want all those things. But people go into the dating scene wanting those things, but not having the attitude, a positive attitude towards finding those things. So
Right.
if you desire something and you keep telling yourself that it doesn't exist, how is that going to work?
Right.
It just doesn't work. And that's what I see the most is people say, ain't nobody out here. This is gonna be too hard. Men play games or women ain't about nothing. I mean, all that negativity, and what it does is it dictates their behavior, right? So how
Yeah.
as you think is how you behave, right? And so that's what I see the most is it's a negativity mindset, and it's also one of grave. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like trauma responses, right? It's like toxic thoughts about everything. Everything is bad. Everything is not going to be good. If I invest X amount of time, I'm going to waste my time. And so a lot of that's because of what you've been through in the past, right?
Right.
And if you've been through those things, you think that that's always how it's going to end up. But if you want a relationship and you want to date, you got to change your mindset.
That's true. Absolutely. And I know that was one of the things I had to change. Because I guess once you start getting older too, it's like, okay, I got a child, I'm getting older. Like, is
Mm-hmm.
somebody gonna want me? Because that is really all you hear. What I've always heard, ain't nobody out here, and all the men are dogs and all of this stuff. But when I started dating, I was just like, what's everybody talking about? Because I'm like, I'm having a good time. Like, no, everybody is not like the one, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a good time learning
Mm-hmm.
about other people and learning about myself and what I like and what I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really just an experience, and I'm taking my time. So I'm nothing to be scared of. Everybody,
It's
I'm
true
having a
though.
good time.
But see, you're open though, right? I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's the thing is what most people do is they go into dating, right? And they think the first person I meet is going to be my husband or going to be my wife. And then when that doesn't happen, they're disappointed. And then they're burnt out. Oh, this app don't work. That's what they say. These stupid apps don't work. Or, all this stuff you tell me doesn't work. I'm like, well, it's a process. Like it's a process for you, right?
Yep. I think I remember you telling me something that really rang true to me. You have to be in the right mindset as far as like your mood when it's time to get on the app. So you told me to set aside a specific time to make sure that I'm on the apps maybe 30 minutes after work or whatever is good
Mm-hmm.
for me. I know when I'm like amped up and I'm not feeling good, I'm not in the best mood, I don't get on there because I
Mm-hmm.
can potentially slide past somebody that could be a good match for me. So I just back up off of it. But I just, like you said, I believe people will get on there and just be like, just going through all the duds. Yes, there are more duds than
Mm-hmm.
not.
Yeah.
But when you start, kind of combing through, you have some really good matches. Like I've just met this guy. And side note, I'm going to start talking about a lot of my dating experiences in a small group, FYI, because I know a lot of ladies need to kind of know what's going on. But
Oh, I lost you.
oh, hello.
There it is. There it
Okay,
is.
I was like, what's going
You
on?
see, you got all them men that you dating. They keep calling you while you on here.
Listen,
That's what it
ladies,
is.
y'all tripping. Y'all listen, get in my inbox. I'm gonna let you know. But anyway, but there's a lot of quality guys, I mean, that I've come across. Just met a guy not too long ago. I kind of threw him off to the side and he's not, he can't see my Facebook, but I mean, he has several businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Very, college degree. He was super fine. Like we just didn't mesh well, personality wise. But there are some good guys that don't have a lot of baggage, that don't have a lot of kids. If they are, they take care of whatever they got to take care of and go on. So it's just a matter of just taking your time and having the right mindset, like we said. Okay, next. Um, Talk about being scared today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, let's talk about being
Yeah.
scared. Do you see a lot of that?
Oh man. So fear is like, if you notice, most people in their lives operate out of fear. If you really think about it, in almost every aspect of my life, I don't want to leave this job because I might not find another one. I'm scared, right? Or I don't want to try something new. When we do that in parenting, I don't want my kid to fall, so I don't let them experiment, right? So it's like always we operate out of fear so much. That's why we can't thrive. And so a lot of people that when it comes to dating, they operate straight out of fear. Everything is about what might not happen or what might go wrong, right? I have to reframe for my clients a lot of times is, okay, so what could go right though? Right?
Right.
What could happen in a positive light if you went out on the dating scene? So if you let fear paralyze you, you'll just be lonely, right? Because most times it's not going to be a person that's just going to show up at your doorstep. You got
Right.
to go out and you got to get it. And the other part of this is it's unattractive. When people are like fearful all the time and they operate from a place of insecurity, it's not attractive on the dating scene. Because if you get a confident man and he sees that you're always, in that energy, it's not attractive, right? Because I want to
Right.
know that you're confident that you could be a confident spouse, you could be a confident mother, you could be a confident partner. I want to know that you have those things, as a part of you. But if it's always insecurity all the time, I know it's downhill. If I'm a confident man, now downside is if you or if you operate in that energy, there's a lot of men out there that prey on women like that too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There are a lot of men who haven't healed, a lot of insecure men, who are beta type males, who they see a woman in her insecure space, and so they latch on to that, and that's not good either. You don't want to have that kind of energy.
Right. We had a conversation about dating. What was it when we don't date in our hometown? So I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee, born and raised. I'm still here, but I don't date here. Not saying that I'm close to it, but I just don't because I travel. And we had a conversation about that too. Let's talk about not being open to meeting somebody outside of your home, because what I'm seeing is women are like, there's nobody here, so there's nobody. I'm going to be by myself.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's that limiting mindset, right? And so it's like I have clients like that all the time, Regan. I mean, where they'll be like, they live in like a town that's got like 200 people in it. They're like, where's no one to date? I'm like, yeah, ain't nobody dating your town. And then I'm like, okay, are you open to long distance? Are you open to traveling? Are you open to broadening your search? And like, well, no, I kind of want somebody that's close to me. How's that gonna work? Right? So you can find, like, think about life is fluid, right? You can find someone that maybe they live a couple hours away. If you can drive, you can get to them, right? Or say they live far away. Are you open to moving? I just think people got to be more adventurous in opening up their dating pool. We limit our own dating pools by our limiting beliefs.
Right. That's true. That's true. Ladies, did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Yeah, open up that radius.
I know I am. And one thing that you told me, listen, I kind of want to say this, but I don't. But I do because I'm dating.
Go ahead.
But not anytime, but I'm going to say 80% of the time, if I'm out of town, Troy said, go get you a date. Go get you a date. Go have a drink, which I don't drink, but go have me a glass of water on the rocks, or, some appetite, something, but just go and date. And I'm telling you, it's the best thing ever, because now it's not that I'm necessarily concentrating on the date, but for one, I travel for business. So I'm going to be there on business. I'm going to be there with my homegirl. So we're going to have a good time. And then if, I hook up with somebody and we have a good time, not hook up. But
that disclaimer.
Right. But it's fun. I've made dating fun for me.
That's it. And you know what you did? You know what you're doing too, Regan? You're developing your dating muscle, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to think, most of us weren't taught how to date. We look at it as a task versus looking at it as, I hated going to the gym at one point, right? You hate going up in there, but once you go a couple of times, you kind of like it. Your body craves it, right? It's like, oh, I want to go to the gym. Yeah. Same thing with dating. If you don't build your dating muscle up, you're just gonna be frustrated and mad all the time.
Right. Listen. I'm having a good time. Like, I know people be like, oh God, I'm tired of her. No, I'm serious. We have a good time. Me and my homegirl, like, that's what we talk about. Okay, so we going here. Okay, so we need to go to our app and see who's in the town, or why not? We're having a good time. And we're not smashing. FYI, we're collecting data. No smashing, just collecting data. Okay.
You just
right. Okay. I have two more things and I'm gonna let you go, because Troy has somewhere he has to be too. He's double dutying today on interviews, so we don't want to be we want to be mindful of his time. Okay. This is a good one. So I had a conversation, and hello, if you are watching, because I'm about to tell you a story, but I'm not going to call your name. I had somebody call me, which a lot of people call me, so I don't have to be specific with that, but they called and said they like somebody. And they asked me how to answer a specific question that somebody asked them, that they like each other. And I was like, just tell them what you want. And I said, it sounds like you're scared to say it because you don't know what they're going to say. Why are we scared to tell people what we want, Troy?
We're scared to tell people what we want because we're scared of rejection. That's it. It's a simple answer, right? It's a very simple answer. But here's the thing. What happens when we don't tell people what we want? What do we end up?
With nothing?
Nothing.
Because we will never know.
You'll never know, right? I told you, and it's not just women; it's men doing this too a lot, right?
Wait a minute, men do it too.
Oh yeah, it's like I know men that'll be designing a relationship, right? But they don't want to come off too strong, or like they don't want to come off like they thirsty, or like they, I'm like, dude, simply be honest. This is what I'm looking for to get out of my dating situation. It don't have to be with you, right? But hey, this is what I'm intentionally looking for. I'm dating to find a girlfriend. I'm dating to find a man who could potentially be my husband, right? But it's not like I'm saying I want you to be that person. You see what I mean? But if you don't tell people what you're looking for, you don't give them the right to say, does my intention align with yours? Right? So what happens is, a lot of times guys will do this too. You gotta understand something about men. Right? Men will keep you around in a bucket over here. You know what I mean? Just as a convenience, right? Or someone that, just like women do it too. Like they'll kind of have a guy like that they use for dinner every once in a while, or whatever it might be. You see
we
what I'm
don't
saying?
do that. What are you talking about? We don't do that.
Lies you tell. And so my point is, if you're not clear, then you can't have clear expectations and clear boundaries. And when you don't have that, you end up in situationships. That's what you end up with.
Yeah.
That's what you end up with. So that's the only reason we're scared, Reagan. And I understand it. Because what girls tell girls all the time, or women tell women, is you're gonna push him away if you tell him that. You don't want to come on too strong. No, I find it attractive when a woman knows what she wants.
Right.
I find it attractive. Now, if I don't want the same thing, I can easily say, well, I'm not looking for the same thing. That's it.
See how simple this is, everybody? It's not
overthink
hard.
it. We overthink it.
I know I was there, but now listen, sir, I'm like, man, I'm about to shout your name to the rooftops, because if you can get me to like, listen, you have no idea. I'm having a really good time. Let's see. Last question. Okay. About being scared to trust. So when is it that when do you start releasing like information because about yourself and your trust issues, like those personal things? Because I know sometimes you don't want to scare people off, but you want to, still be open. I know me, I'm really open and fluid with a lot of things. So I do have to be mindful, but some people aren't, but they still kind of want to know some things about you. So when are you, open and start trusting the person?
So here's what I would say is everybody's not privy to your story, right? Everybody's not, they're not deserving of the depths of you, right? They got to actually show that they're consistently putting in some effort to actually get to know you, right? It's not stuff you want to just be offering up. Hey, I got trust issues sometimes because of what I went through in my past. No, but if you have a good conversation with these things will come out. Pay attention to the types of questions they're asking you. Are they questions that where they're really trying to get to know you, or are they just trying to get, small talk in so they can try to get your panties? You see what I mean? Like, are they saying stuff like, hey, I always look for, are they asking the second and third question? So it's one thing to say, why'd you and your ex break up? It's another thing to say, hey man, what did you really learn from that? Like, what was your biggest lessons from that? What role did you play in it? What role did he play? So you're trying to understand, like, how does that affect you now?
Right.
If they're trying to get that deep, they may be actually interested in you and your heart, right? I think so. I don't know if there's a time period to answer your question. I don't know if it's a time period, but I think consistency of effort over time makes someone more deserving or more privy to that information, right? Because you can't talk about your favorite color but so much.
Well, who cares about that? Like, why are we even talking about that right now?
You can't do the surface level conversation for so long, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I would say once you start feeling a good vibe, they start talking, consistently to you, and they show effort consistently. Just because you talk to someone consistently doesn't mean they're showing effort consistently, right? Are they trying to see you? Are they trying to go on a Zoom date with you? Are they trying to, actually invest in you? If they're not investing in you, then they just filling time.
Right. Let's talk, kind of expand this. And this is the last question for real. Let's kind of expand on on a date. What is the possible date? So, example, I was supposed to be meeting somebody, and I physically did not feel like leaving my hotel room. I just didn't. I was like, cool, grab something to eat, and you can come and watch movies. Like, I don't. But some people are like, I'm not comfortable doing that. So, tell me what dates are. Yeah. Tell me, like, do they have to be out? Is it what what you prefer, or let's talk about a date. What does that look like?
Yeah. So, safety first, right? I always say safety first, right? If you don't feel comfortable with someone, then you probably shouldn't be alone with them, right?
Right.
But if you're at a point where you feel comfortable with them, dates can be anything. Dates are anywhere that you're spending time together with the intention of getting to know each other. That's what dating is. So that could be anything. I love virtual dates, right? If COVID is a thing for you, I mean, a Zoom date where you both actually dress up and still cook together in separate houses, that's cool, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they got things like virtual escape rooms, right? Where you can do those kind of things. Everything can be almost anything can be virtual these days. But I mean, whether it's walks in the park or ice cream or axe throwing, there's so many things you can do. But the question is, are you putting yourself in a position where you can actually talk to each other, number one, but then number two, putting yourself in positions where you can see how they interact in different scenarios. For example, I love to see go bowling or something like that, right? Because I get to see your competitive nature. How do you handle competition? How do you handle it when you lose?
Y'all just be wanting to look at their booty though. That's
a big part of it too, right? I want to see you walk up there and boot and bowl too. So that's a part of it. But my part is dates can be anything, right? I think people overthink dates. I think dates are really about the time you spend together doing things to get to know each other. Creativity is there. I always tell people, Google is your best friend.
Right.
If you want to know how to go on dates, Google different types of dates. It's not like you got to overthink it, but I do think one thing. I do think people feel special when you listen to them enough to tailor the date towards what they like, right? So if you're collecting data, correct, if you're talking, you're collecting data with each other, and I say, I love, Mexican food. Maybe I should plan the date around Mexican food. You see what I'm saying? Just enough so that I'm listening to you. I hear you. You see what I mean? He says I love cigars. Maybe we go to a cigar bar, right? Stuff like that. So it's just I feel like people got to put thought into it. Don't just make cookie cutter dates for each person.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yep. Last question for real.
All good.
And I think I know what you're going to say on this one. I'm going to ask it for the ladies. What is it cool for ladies to ask guys out on dates and pay?
Absolutely.
So the men won't be like, oh my gosh, she's a sugar mama or whatever.
My rule is reciprocation, right? If you always asking and you always paying, that's a problem, right? But I think men should lead in the beginning, right? I do still believe in that. I do in the beginning, if you see a guy you're interested in, say, hey, we should link up, or we should grab a drink. You should be prepared to pay. Whoever initiates that date should be prepared to pay. But you shouldn't always be asking him out. If he's not asking you to go spend time with you, he's probably not that into you, right? Same thing, think about it. If it was the other way around, right? If he was always asking you out, but you never ever, called him, or you never ever show him attention, or you never said, I want to go.
Right.
He should think you're not that into him, right?
Right.
Men love to feel that you're invested in them as well, right? Men love to feel like you desire them as well. Right. I know the world kind of taught women that they should just sit back and receive all the time. I'm telling you, men have egos too. Because think about it, if you're competing in the marketplace, right? I got a woman over here who never asks, who never initiates anything. And I got a woman over here who looks just as good, but she initiates stuff sometimes. Guess who I'm going with?
The one who initiates.
Because she makes me feel good.
Being thirsty, you don't want to be you could be all into him, but again, that's going back to the fear of letting him know, I'm interested in you, because of rejection, like you said.
I got single friends who tell me, I'm telling you, and they say women are just as inconsistent as men on the dating scene. So women complain to me all the time about men are inconsistent. I don't know if they're into me, and blah. Well, a lot of times it's both people posturing. So he likes her, she likes him, but neither one of them want to make the first move.
That is crazy. So somebody would have to say something.
Well, we worried about our egos. That's the problem.
So how does the woman know? How does the woman know that the man likes him if everybody's just kind of on a standoff? How can we be like, I think he's really feeling me? So, but he hadn't said anything. So how do I know that I need to say something?
So here's what I always suggest. I suggest clear communication up front with someone, right? Meaning saying hey, if I'm into someone, I really like to hear from them, every day. Or, when someone's into me, what lets me know they're into me is, they actually, ask me out, or they want to spend time with me. So I'm guiding you. I'm telling you, here are the things that I need to feel in order to feel like you're into me. And then you see what happens. Same thing for a guy. I always tell guys, like, you should be very clear on what it is that you expect from someone that you're dating, right? Or, someone that you could potentially be with. We're so worried about how it comes off. No, it's creating a boundary or an expectation. Is that a bad thing? Wouldn't that become a bad thing? Especially now that we're older. Like, if you're in your early 20s, you don't even know how to talk about this kind of stuff. If you're 40 plus, 35 plus, you should be able to say this without worrying about, oh, I don't know if that's something. You're not saying marry me tomorrow, but I think people lack communication skills, and so that's what the problem is.
It's not a thing. It is.
It is. Yeah. So they instead of saying it how I just said it, they might say, "Well, why you ain't call me today? Well, you ain't call me. You must not like me." That's not how you say it.
That sounds insecure. Like, who wants to be bothered with that?
Just learn how to communicate and learn how to do it with feminine energy. That's the key, right?
Talk about it. Talk about the feminine energy, because the ladies need to know. Pastor Troy, talk about it.
That masculine stuff that women are saying. I just put this up yesterday. Your biggest currency on the dating scene as a woman is your feminine energy, and people think that when I say feminine, I mean like, now you got to play like you need him. No, that's not what I'm saying. Feminine energy is about your aura, right? How does someone feel in your presence, right? Can you keep it flirty? Can you keep it light? Are you agreeable? Are you peaceful? Those are feminine qualities, right? But we've told women they need to lead with masculine energy. Oh, I make this much money. I got this many businesses. I do this. I do that. You can't talk to me any kind of way. Like, nah, that energy is not needed, right? Because the more feminine woman men eat out of the hand of feminine women.
True.
I'm telling you. Have you ever seen? I've seen very average-looking women with very attractive men. It is because she makes him feel good about himself in her presence.
Absolutely.
You see what I mean? So to me, if you can say, hey, if you can twirl your hair a little bit and smile and talk about how you like to be talked to, and how you like to be communicated with, that's like, I'm sitting there like, okay, I like her. I'm gonna make sure I call her every day. And if I don't, then I might not be into you. And that's okay.
Right. On to the next. Listen, that's why I love the dating apps. Side note, on to the next. Look, if somebody is not interested, swipe left, swipe right.
Well, that's why we need. You know why you're having success with that? Because you're not sleeping with everybody. And see, that's the other piece, right? Is people get into this stuff and they start having these sexual relationships so early.
That's where it's gonna mess up.
Now you caught up in the web. Because I don't let men know that if they can satisfy you sexually, then you start thinking you start thinking totally different than what you was thinking before.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's important, man. I think that feminine energy, that communication, all that stuff is so important. But we weren't taught how to date, Regan. I know I wasn't.
That's why I started dating instead. And that's why, I wanted you to be a part of it, and the other counselors and the therapists. No, what we saw was what our parents had or lack thereof, or whoever around us. Then I know D'Angelo talked about we learned sex from porn. Like, nobody sat us down and said anything. And so now we need to me, my opinion, and yours too as well, because you're in this, we need to have the conversation. Because if you desire a relationship, you can have the relationship you desire. For me, my friend said, the guy that you want, Regan, I don't think he exists. I've seen him several times over, and I ain't been out here that long. You hear me?
Yeah.
So you can have what you want, but it's like you said earlier, your mentality has got to change. You've got to be open. Don't shut off, and get that feminine energy together, baby. Listen, you'll have no problems. You better hear what I'm saying. You'll have no problems.
But here's the other thing, Regan, is how many people are stuck in a bubble of their exact type, right?
Right.
Ooh, they don't even, you gotta understand, that type was built from somewhere, right? It was built in how you grew. It was built from somewhere. But I've seen women literally count quality men out because they didn't fit the exact type mold. And I'm like, now you got to be attracted. I get that piece, right? But man, there's some awesome men out there that they're not even given a chance because he doesn't look like that. Now, mind you, once you heal when you really heal, your type starts to change.
Oh,
You see what I
absolutely.
mean? It starts to
Absolutely.
change. But a lot of women haven't done that work. And they don't realize, like, and men too, they haven't realized, like, you were attracted to that certain type of man because you were in a bad space. And so if you're still looking for him, that's not good for you. That's counterproductive.
And you dating the same man in a different body. Who got time for that?
That's it.
There's no way I
I know you got friends like that. I'm not friends, but people you know who dated the same man 13 times.
Mm-hmm. I don't want, and a side note, I'm not hating on my ex. I love him. That's my child's father, but I don't want nobody else like, you hear me? I'm
Yeah.
listening. Nope.
But
Don't want them.
but here's the thing, what space were you in when you were attracted to
Listen.
that person? It's a different space, different
Didn't
energy.
know who I was, and yeah, no self-esteem. Just I was 19.
Yeah, there you go.
So
So we
yeah,
gotta that's why I love what you say. You say date multiple people, right? Date different people. Because if you don't date, how do you a lot of us have to relearn ourselves.
right.
Like you think you know what you like, but you ain't even been out there. You've been married for 20 years. You don't even know what you like no more.
Listen, and also, you said something about boundaries.
Mhm.
Oh, I want to say something, but I know he's going to be watching this, and I definitely cannot say it. But what I will say is, um, let me see how I can word this. You can really, what I've actually run into is that you can really like somebody and start making excuses early for some of the
Mhm.
red flags that you are like, I said this is my
Mhm.
deal breaker, but I like him because he's got all these other qualities. If you have deal breakers on the table, don't bend.
Mhm.
And
Don't
that was
bend.
one of I had to have that conversation like, man, I really like you because I do. He was like top of the list on my, on my folks.
Mhm.
Very consistent. Like we've been talking for a few months and call every day. I mean, like clockwork. It's not a day I haven't talked to him. But I'm
Mhm.
like, you got two of my deal breakers, and I'm like, I dealt with this with my ex. I
Mhm.
don't. I can't. So we can be friends. Now, if
That's
we
it.
can't be friends and you like me, we gotta keep it pushing. So yeah, hold on
That's
firm to
it.
those.
And hold on firm because you'll resent it if you don't. If you now, it's one thing to have things you desire, right?
Yeah.
But it's another thing to say something's a deal breaker. Like if you tell yourself that's a deal breaker, then when it happens, it should break the deal, right? I mean, that's the whole point in creating a deal breaker.
Okay, I think I was making sure we didn't have any questions. Did anybody have any questions? I should have said that earlier because I was actually just going to let this go 30 minutes because Pastor Troy got somewhere to go. Let's see.
I'll
Let
take questions if anybody has any.
me see. Did anybody have any questions? Okay, Christy said, and I'm going to kind of scroll back up. Our fear of rejection also aids in us not wanting to communicate our boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Very
Um, when you heal, your type starts to change that part. I'm taking notes for the replay, people who scroll through the comments.
true.
Okay, did anybody have anything that they wanted to add or ask before we let him go? Also, again, I firmly believe if you need somebody for every part of your life. And a lot of people have asked me, like, why do you have a dating coach? Like, does it really make a difference? Absolutely. So you go to church, you have a pastor. You
Mm-hmm.
have a business, you have a mentor. You work out, you have somebody that shows you how to exercise. Like, you should have something for every part of your life to be successful. And I know I'm a wife. Like, I loved being a wife. And so
Mm-hmm.
I know I want to get married again. And I know I would make a wonderful wife, even more so than what I was before, because I have other tools. And so I needed to hire Troy to be able to show me different things. I already had started some of the groundwork, but now he's come in and, helped some other areas of my life. So it was money well spent. So again, if you're having um, any issues or questions or whatever concerning dating, he is absolutely the greatest person to me to talk to. And y'all know if you know me, y'all know I'm picky. Listen, I don't fool with everybody. So if they're in my space, if they're on my live, if I mention them, I highly respect them. And he's been on several times. He will, to me, change your dating life if you're open. If you're not ready to act and do, don't even waste his time. because
Don't
he's
even
busy.
waste the time.
They don't even waste his time. Be open. Because I'm telling you, in just this short amount of time, y'all, I can listen. I'm legit finna start a Facebook dating group on the side, and it's gonna be private. February 14th. I wasn't
Go
gonna announce
for it.
that, but February 14th, because women need to know how to do it. But I'm telling you, if you need somebody to coach you, Troy can do it. Please inbox me.
Reagan, here's what I would say too. Just one thing to add is everybody's not bold enough to get a coach, right?
Yeah.
So at least be actively involved in trying to get new information.
Yeah.
About if you've been doing the same thing all these years and you get no results, go at least try to do some research. Go try to read something. Go try to, go do something different than what you've been doing. It don't have to be with me, but just go do
Yeah.
something different. Like if you don't get new information, you can't get new behaviors or new habits.
Right.
You see what I mean? So go do that. And also, I always recommend my book. Right? Go get a copy. That's a great place to start. I
Let me
love
drop that link.
Go get the book. I mean, it's not a how-to guide or dating guide or anything like that. But my whole book is a change your mindset guide. It's about self-reflection, right? And I think that's where a lot of people need to start. It's just, even in the book I say, this is not a how-to book. This is a change your mindset book. That's all it is. So if by the time you finish that book, you start thinking different, then I've done my job.
Right. And it's an easy read and it's not really thick. It's like you're talking to, like how you're talking. It's like
this.
Talking. Right. And that's why I like it. Okay, we got some questions.
Okay.
Da, 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 da. How do you feel about mixing business with pleasure? I say no, but I'm not the coach. Not unless y'all to be married and get together like that.
So here's how I see it. It depends on the level of business and pleasure. Now, if you're talking about like partners and owning a business, not so much, right? Unless you're married already. But if you like work at the same place and you don't report to them, y'all just happen to be coworkers, I think a lot of romances happen in the workplace, right? Because guess what? The workplace is just another place where you're expanding your social circle. You see what I mean? So I'm not against it. I'm not against it at all, unless you're talking about going into business with someone. Because when you go into business with someone, y'all both are investing money and stuff like that. That's when it gets messy, when you start breaking up and you start having issues. I've seen it happen. I've seen businesses ruined because two people were dating each other as business owners. On the contrary, I've seen some married couples have really successful businesses. So it can happen, but if you don't have clear boundaries, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So I hope that answers the question, because it really just depends. I mean, honestly, it depends on the nature of the relationship. Right. You done had a bad experience.
I have. And listen, and it's crazy. Well, I'm not Facebook friends with them. I had to actually block them, but I was in business. Somebody had hired me to do something, and it started getting real inappropriate. Like they was trying to feed me, and it was different. So I'm just like, I can't coach you and I can't do certain things, and we still no.
That ain't gonna work. You can't be the coach and the player at the same time.
Right. Like, what is this? I'm confused. We're not doing this.
No,
So I tried to drop your Amazon link down in here. It did. It did it. So everybody dropped his book down in the comment section. Mm-hmm. Please go out and get it. Let me see. I think we have one more question. No, Risa, we're gonna get to yours. So Risa says, when dating with children, when do you make that introduction?
Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one because it's not a time period thing. To me, it's a level of commitment thing. I just don't think you should. I think you should err on the side of caution when introducing the kids, because I think the person needs to be a staple in your life and prove that for a long, extended period of time before they get to bring the kids. Because kids suffer when they have people in and out their life, right? They start getting attached to people, and if I had to put a time on it, I would say a year. But that's just my opinion. I would say, has someone been in your life for a year consistently and they have clear intentions of where they want to be with you in the future before I start introducing kids? I don't like mixing it because I just think it gets messy when you dating somebody, and then y'all break up and then now you got another person there for another year from now, and then built these bonds and attachments with this person. They got to be real serious about you for you to introduce them to your kids. That's my opinion. You tell me what you think, Regan. You're a mom.
So I got a different type of daughter. And I actually was going to do a video about this. Huh?
Your daughter's older too.
She's 12 going on 55.
Ah, okay.
So she's like, I talk to her like I'm almost like I'm talking to you. But I still kind of limit some things. But I am extremely open to her about my dating process. And I do that on purpose. Because again, nobody talked to me about it. So example, we actually had a conversation this morning about settling. And can I talk about this? No, I can, but I can't. So we had a conversation about settling. And so she was asking me some questions. And I was like, man, I kind of want to talk about her dad, but I said, we're not going to talk about that. I said, so when you see your mom, what man do you see for me? Not physically, but what do they look like? What do I need? What do you think? If you had to hook me up with a man, what does that man look like? Personality, what do you think I need? And she said, he has to have money. Absolutely. He has to be stable. Absolutely. He has to love God. Absolutely. He can't smoke. Absolutely. So she knows what I want. And she was like, but mama, you should settle. And I was like, no. She thought I meant settle down into a relationship. I said, no, settling for what's less than what you want. I said, I will never again settle for, like, my next husband is going to be the truth. You hear me? And I'm not going to settle. So I had to break it down to her that way. But to answer your question about
it's like bringing people around.
Yeah, I actually talked to her about most of my dates. If whoever I'm talking to, she is probably involved, and she likes the fact that she can come in and talk to me about that. But I keep that door open. About meeting him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like introduction. Like how much time are they spending with her? You know what I mean?
Oh, ain't nobody spending no time with her. She may hear a name, but she ain't gonna see no person. She's not gonna see anybody until.
I think it's important though. I think it's important for your kids to know you have a dating life.
Right.
They need to know that you're out there, but they don't need to be around your dates all the time. You know, unless it's serious and it's going somewhere. But I've literally seen women, you know, and men too, who they just get comfortable. They went on 2-3 dates with somebody. They bringing them over to introduce them, and I'm like, what happens when y'all fall out next week?
All right.
And they're like, where Johnny at?
Right. No, she won't. I'm about to be getting like a ring or something before you see him, and I tell her that too. Like, I wouldn't
want to meet. I would be there. I wouldn't want to be meeting your kids too early.
Right.
If I'm dating you, you know, if I was dating a woman, I would. If she was like, "Well, come meet my kid," I'd be like, you know, I don't know. I don't want to. If I'm not going to be a staple in your life for a long period of time, I shouldn't want to be involved with your kids like that.
Okay, we're going to cut this off because, listen, I know how this goes. We can say 30 minutes and we be here for an hour, and I know you got to go. So thank you so much for your time. Again, Coach, guys, please like, share, and follow this video. Please like and subscribe to Xklusive Thoughts by Troy Spry. He is super awesome. Like I said, this is not your last time seeing him. As long as he tells me yes, I'm going to be on here. When I start going on tour, I'm be like, Troy, bring you and your wife. Let's go.
Let's do it whenever you're ready,
and help the people.
Whenever you're ready. So thank you for being a good host and a good client. I appreciate you.
No, thank you. Well, anyway, you guys have a blessed night. My name is Regan Adams with All Things Regan, and Regan says, "I think it, I see it, I do it." You guys have a good night. Bye.
Peace.
Bye, Troy.
Bye.